Happy New Year. It is 2018. I've been making videos on YouTube since 2011, so I thought it would be fun to look back at my super cringeworthy, embarrassing old videos, starting with my very first one. Please don't make fun of me.
This is my first video for my YouTube channel, Token Libertarian Girl.
Oh god, that is so cheesy. When I started a YouTube channel, I expected just to put out a couple videos. I was 22, I was trying to be smart and think ahead, and I didn't want these couple videos I made when I was young to follow me around on the internet for the rest of my life. I had trouble thinking of a name, but I kept going back to girl or woman because it was clearly what separated me from most other libertarian commentators, and I tried to make it funny by doing the token thing because there's not that many libertarian girls. But looking back, it is just so overdone and cheesy, and I should have gone with my real name to begin with.
The CNN debate last night, they actually asked candidates, do you prefer Coke or Pepsi? What? They actually asked, do you prefer a BlackBerry or iPhone? What? We have so many wars going on right now, and our official national debt is over $14 trillion.
14 trillion, psh.
I felt that the real clear winner last night was Ron Paul.
Surprise, and I think that.
I thought it was funny how a lot of the candidates are trying to sound like Ron Paul, but at the same time they're trying to distance themselves from Ron Paul. I'm not sure how that works.
That is a good point. I often speak about social media at conferences, and some people say, you know, I would love to start a YouTube channel, but I'm not really comfortable in front of the camera. So I show them that very first video. Do you think I'm comfortable in front of the camera? No, I'm still not. I'm in this room by myself talking to a camera. It's weird. The next video I'm going to show is from 2011. It was the first video I did that really got noticed by the Ron Paul community. It was on the Ron Paul forums. It told my story on how I used to be a neoconservative, and I became a libertarian non-interventionist. A lot of people said they could relate to my story. There's a lot of former neocons who have similar stories as me.
I was tricked into believing that the 9/11 attacks were connected to Iraq. I thought these wars showed that we weren't weak. For some reason, I thought that bombing a bunch of countries showed just how strong we were, and that no one would attack us if we did this. I had never heard of the concept of blowback. That all changed in early 2007 when I was 18 years old. I was actually in an anti-Patriot Act Facebook group when I saw somebody wrote, Google Ron Paul. So I did. My life was forever changed that day. I learned about Ron Paul, who was a modern-day founding father. He spoke the truth. He was anti-war and pro-freedom.
For years, I dealt with people saying, oh, Julie Borowski, she's a neocon, she's just trying to jump on the libertarian bandwagon. But when I say I used to be a neocon, I didn't mean like last year. I meant when I was 13 years old. There's absolutely no evidence of me being a neocon online except for me saying that I used to be a neocon. Of course, with the state of the libertarian movement being the way it is now, no one accuses me of trying to jump on the libertarian bandwagon. More often, I'm asked, Julie, why are you still a libertarian? I don't know, because I believe in these ideas, I guess. And then I started trolling.
Barack Hussein Obama is a Keynesian. Wake up. I cannot believe there are still Americans out there who believe he's not. Have these people been living under a rock for the past couple years? They have been deceived. How much proof do these people need? Sheeple. I've met Keynesians, and everything about Obama screams Keynesian. Just listen to the way he talks. It's so Keynesian. Some people question Obama's place of birth, but it's really his Keynesian economic policies that bother me.
Then I go on to talk about Keynesian economics and why Obama's a Keynesian, but this was the height of the birther movement, and there were so many comments. Obama was born in Hawaii, you dumb C-word. It was fun. I had a blast. When you get so much criticism online Some of it's valid, some of it's constructive, but most of it is just petty garbage. You have to have fun, you have to entertain yourself, and I do plenty of it. And then I did a why I'm voting for Obama video, and I dressed like an occupier. That was a movement back in the day.
I'm voting for Obama because he's anti-corporate greed. Oh yeah? If Obama is so anti-corporation, why did he sign a law forcing every American to buy health insurance from a big corporation? Obama created 4.5 million jobs, man. No, he didn't. That figure was calculated on a computer using the Keynesian multiplier formula. This discredited equation basically says more government spending equals more jobs. It's not even using real data. It completely ignores how the government finances spending. It does so in 3 ways. It either taxes people, borrows money, or just prints more money out. All 3 of these ways hurt the economy and destroy jobs. More jobs have been lost in the past 4 years than gained.
I am really animated and angry. I was trying to contrast the super chill Obama supporter with somebody like over the top, and yeah, it was a little over the top. And to be fair, I did a why I'm voting for Mitt Romney parody.
Mitt supports the Second Amendment. Actually, when he was running for Senate in Massachusetts, he supported background checks and banning assault rifles. Well, he's pro-life. As governor, he described himself as pro-choice and said he would protect a woman's right to choose. Mitt will stop the bailouts. Mitt supported TARP, the over $700 billion bank bailout.
Of course, a lot of Mitt Romney supporters got mad at me for that video. How dare you diss a Republican? Some people got mad because I was doing a Southern accent. But you know what? I'm bad at accents. And the Southern accent is the one accent I do halfway decently, so just give that to me. And then there was a lot of libertarians who for years I had to read on Facebook that I supported Mitt Romney. Yeah, Julie Borowski, she voted for Mitt Romney. She even did a video on it. And people would just believe that. They would just like telephone. No one asked for sources. Why don't they ask for sources? It was clearly a parody. Next was my first semi-viral video, which was awesome. Lena Dunham did this ad for Obama where she basically compared voting for Obama to losing her virginity. Ugh. So I did a parody.
You want a guy who says, oh hey, I ended the war in Iraq, when really he wanted to keep thousands of troops in Iraq past the deadline negotiated before his administration. Or a guy who also panders to the gay community, who only recently endorsed gay marriage a couple months ago because it was politically convenient. It's a fun game to say, who are you voting for? And they say, not Obama. And I say, why not? And they go, NDA, Patriot Act, drone attacks, kill list, high unemployment, national debt.
The next few days were nuts. All these big conservative blogs, Breitbart, which was different back in the day, Red State, Michelle Malkin was sharing it. It was all over the conservative blogosphere. It was cool. Someone I know who worked for Rand Paul messaged me and said that Rand had watched this video and thought it was funny. Rand Paul thinks I'm funny, guys. What's amusing to me is that I was bashing Obama for being pro-Patriot Act and pro-war, and all of these mainstream conservatives were sharing this video because it was anti-Obama. I don't care why they shared it, but it was amusing to see. The next video got me into some trouble with some libertarians. I constantly get asked, why aren't there more female libertarians? And I answer over and over and over and over. So I finally did a video where I could just link it.
Why aren't there more female libertarians? Because libertarianism is not part of popular culture yet. Let's be honest here. Women tend to be more concerned with being socially accepted and fitting in with their peers. They don't want to be associated with something considered outside the mainstream. Pop culture tells women it's normal, it's trendy, it's good to be a liberal. Take these popular women's magazines full of liberal propaganda. On the front in big font they always say, sex, butts, orgasms. Pretty inappropriate stuff on full display at the checkout line at the grocery store. Not only do these magazines promote the liberal feminist view that casual sex is empowering to women, No, it's not. They're also pro-choice on abortion, pro-Title IX, they support Obamacare, they support regulation to fix the so-called gender wage gap, they support taxpayer-funded birth control, and so on. And the craziest thing is these magazines have ridiculously expensive products. You either have to be a trophy wife or a Wall Street banker to afford anything. It's like this. This $200 lipstick will ensure that your man won't be able to keep his hands off of you. Hopefully this will cover up my ugly personality. Here's the $350 eyeshadow that Beyonce just swears by. Put this on and you look exactly like Beyonce herself. Here's a $5,000 designer handbag to put all your junk in. Oh, well, thank goodness taxpayers are forced to pay for my birth control, so I can afford to buy this $100 mascara that this magazine says will make me attractive to my man. Good priorities. If we want to increase the number of female libertarians, we need to make liberty mainstream. Make it part of popular culture without changing our beliefs. We need more libertarian authors, comedians, actors, artists, magazine writers, filmmakers, and so on. That's how we win.
Maybe I was just clueless, but I was not expecting that video to be so controversial. Usually before I post a video, I know if it's going to cause significant disagreement among my audience, and I try to clarify myself in the video. I went the more stupid route because I was not expecting any backlash. I was sitting at the hairdresser's reading a cosmopolitan magazine. I do this to avoid small talk, right? And in this magazine, they were talking about how all women have the right to free birth control. Typical liberal garbage, but in this magazine, they also have really expensive items. Here's a $100 lipstick, a $1,000 purse, $500 shirt. How do they expect their readers to be able to afford all these expensive clothes and makeup, but they can't afford birth control? I thought, I really want to mock this, and maybe I could tie this into why there's not that many female libertarians, and maybe it wasn't as clear as I thought. There were libertarian blogs and well-known libertarian commentators calling me sexist and misogynist, and I'm an embarrassment to libertarian women, and if I were to know that was going to cause that much backlash, I would have separated the two and done a more serious video about the lack of female libertarians. Nowadays, when people ask me that question, I try to do a more pro-woman approach, which comes across a lot better. I say, look at women who are libertarians. They're very strong and independent and don't give a beep what other people think of them, which is the attitude you have to be a libertarian, because people will consider you weird and selfish and you only care about yourself and all of this, you're outside the mainstream and you're marginal. I know that from my own experience, where I've taken a hit, especially among my female peers who think that I'm weird. I'm trying to be more careful these days because while I still absolutely believe that there are tons of aspects of feminism that deserve to be criticized and mocked, doing so can attract the wrong audience. People who are legitimately anti-women. I don't mean anti-feminist. I mean legitimately anti-women. I am not anti-woman. I happen to be a woman. I think it's relatively easy for black people and gay people and trans people and females to gain an audience in libertarian and conservative circles, but you want to make sure that you're being true to yourself. Next, I did a video about how to avoid rape. People liked it because it had a gun in it.
Colleges are telling women they should pee or puke on demand to avoid getting raped. Not making this up. Ladies, if you're faced by an attacker, experts say just pee your pants. Or vomit all over. Everybody relax, it's just oatmeal. Trying to gross out a gross, disturbed rapist? Probably not gonna work. Here's a better idea. Don't pee your pants if you're about to be raped. Whip out one of these bad boys and make your wannabe rapist pee his pants instead. I'm going to throw a serious video in the mix because yes, I do some serious videos. They just tend not to get as many views. How I became anti-war. Really, it's how I became anti-interventionist, but that's not a great title.
I'm proud of myself for making this because I knew I was going to get some backlash, especially because I've done this anti-Obama thing, so I have a lot of mainstream conservatives following me who are going to disagree with me on this, but I was proud that I did it because it was so deep and personal. It was even black and white just to get the vibe right.
As years went by, I saw the real consequences of war. I saw too many young men about my age dealing with post-traumatic stress and unable to live a normal life. I saw 19-year-old teenagers coming back from war without limbs and their entire lives destroyed. I saw on TV mothers crying over their son's or daughter's casket and unable to cope that they just lost their child at such a young age. This made me ask, why? Why do I support this? And I couldn't find a good answer.
Next video is my most watched video ever called F-Bombs for Feminism. A group called F-Hate released this video with these little girls in princess costumes, and they were just dropping all kinds of cuss words and talking about feminism. It was a big controversy, everyone was talking about it, so it was prime time for a parody.
Pretty. Pretty. Say what? I'm not some pretty freaking helpless princess in distress. I'm pretty freaking powerful. And despite what many feminists tell me, I don't need the government to take care of me. So what is more offensive? Using little girls as political props and making them drop F-bombs for shock value. Or the same freaking debunked studies being repeated over and over. It's our future. So listen up, radical feminists. Here's some things. Pay inequality. How many times have you heard that women are paid 23% less than men for the exact same freaking work? And did you know that's misleading? It's been debunked countless times. So that stat actually doesn't compare men and women in the same field or the same job. Just overall median wages of workers? Hello? And heck nah. Stop spreading fake facts. I know that the gender wage gap largely disappears when researchers compare apples to apples. Rape and violence. Findings from one questionable CDC survey. 1 out of every 5 women will be sexually assaulted or raped by a man. But that stat isn't reliable. Why continue to use this misleading survey? So no one in the survey was actually asked if they've been raped or sexually assaulted. They were only asked questions like, have you ever had sex when you were drunk? Or have you ever had sex because somebody made promises about the future that you knew were untrue? The CDC counted yes answers as sexual violence. So how many sensationalist stats do we have to hear before we stand up and demand the truth? Here's a hot tip. Teaching people how to prevent rape and teaching people not to freaking rape? You can do both. We're glad that women have more freedom today, but the government still won't leave us alone. The next step is walking to the car with a gun handy if we want. So stop trying to take away our right to defend ourselves. Be pretty. So here's the tricky thing. Pretty, it's a compliment, but looks aren't everything. Radical feminists teaching girls that we are helpless victims by using fake stats leads us to thinking that we need a big government to take care of us. My aspirations in life should not be to be dependent on Uncle Sam. So screw your victimization. I'd rather read this book.
That was fun. Thank you all for watching still, and I hope you have a lovely 2018. Unless you don't deserve to have a lovely 2018, then I wasn't talking to you. Bye!